size Spanish. Alright, that's a good eating size Spanish mackerel. And he's hooked in the gills, so he's definitely coming home. Dolphins are back. Ooh, that was a good bite. There we go, that's a mackerel. That's a nice one. Oh. Had a nice one. Man, I would have loved to see how big that one was. It felt a lot bigger than the last one. There's one. Loosened up my drag a little. Holy moly. That was insane. Gotta get this guy in before the dolphin takes him. Oh man. I've got a big pompano. Ooh, man, it's a really nice pompano. He just figured out he was hooked. Yeah, perfect eating size. Whoa, nice fish. What do we got here? Gotta be a bump. And a nice one. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo, yeah. A big pompano in the gut. Okay, so we decided to do a catch and cook combined with a blind taste test, pompano versus mackerel. I'm going to prepare this fish. I'm not going to tell my family which is which, and I'm going to let them decide which one is better, pompano or mackerel. Most people claim that pompano is one of the better eating fish in the ocean, and mackerel, people are divided. Some people love them, some people hate them. So you would think pompano would be the clear winner here, but it will be interesting to see which one wins in a blind taste test. So we'll start off with showing how to fillet a mackerel. A lot of people just gut these and cook them whole, but I'm going to fillet them. It's almost like these things were made to be filleted. I like to start just by tracing along the spine here. It's not really necessary though. These things are so easy to fillet. Just press down on the knife, almost like you're skinning a fish. Look at that. So easy. Doesn't get any easier than that. And it's a pretty clean fillet. We'll set that aside for a minute. We'll do the other side. Everybody knows that the first side is always the easiest because once you flip a fish over, it's not as flat. But these things fillet so flat that you can actually just pull the head part off of the board, like so, and now you're working with a nice flat fillet again. So I do the same thing here, make a diagonal cut here, trace along the spine. Alright, so now we're going to come in, do the same thing on this side. So these things have about as little waste as you can expect a fish to have. Look at that. You can see right through it. All the bones stay there. All that you are left with is this paper thin bit of fish. If you're grilling this, you could actually leave the skin on and grill it skin side down so it doesn't stick to the grill. But I'm going to be, if you're baking or frying them, it's nice to skin them. So I like to hold one end with a fork, and you just press down so that blade is just kind of floating on the skin. And it gets rid of a lot of the bloodline when you do that too. But you will have some bloodline left over. Not too bad though. You can just slice that out. Not everybody does this, but you'll have less of a, what people call a fishy taste if you get rid of this. If you just yank on this, it actually pulls out. I don't like to pull it all the way though, because you'll end up pulling a big chunk of meat out right there. Nice clean white fillet. Okay, so now we're going to do the pompano. Not a difficult fish to fillet either, but not quite as simple as the mackerel. So I like to angle like this because you got a lot of meat close to the head here. Just make a cut like that. Trace along the backbone, just like you did with the mackerel. You're going to get with the mackerel, you don't really have to do that. I just do it out of habit because with most fish, this is the best way to start. And then you just take the tip of your fillet knife and keep working it like this. And what you're trying to do, once you get going, you can kind of lift this up. You're just following the ribs. If you hear that little brrr sound when that means you're doing it right. Because that means you're hitting the ribs. You're not leaving anything behind. Okay, so there's kind of a little bit of bones right there that you have to work around. Try not to leave too much of that meat on the belly, but I don't want to hit the contents of the stomach either. And come right down to the tail. Okay, we'll set that aside. I can feel some pin bones there we'll have to cut out later. Okay, so we didn't leave too much meat. Okay, so we're keeping it pretty simple. I've got some of this seasoned breadcrumb in this bowl. I'm going to add a little bit of garlic and onion powder to that mix. Just stir that up a little bit. Okay, we're going to crack an egg in this bowl. Got my oil heating up. It's a mixture of olive oil and butter. Alright, so I put everything in order. I've got my egg mixture, fillets here. Fillets on the left, egg mixture in the middle, breading last. So this is a piece of pompano. You can see the difference in how firm and the flesh is. Just get it coated in the egg mixture. Bread it up. And then set it back aside. You want to start frying them all at about the same time. Okay, so I don't want to get these mixed up, so we're going to cook all the mackerel first. Alright, so I put all the mackerel on one plate. Now I'm going to cook the pompano. I'm going to put it on a separate plate. Okay, so the bites I'm going to be giving them are these little tip pieces because it's hard to tell the difference. In fact, I'm going to have to be careful that I don't get them confused. So I'm going to get 3 mackerel tips here. And I'm going to get 3 pompano tips. This should make it hard for them to tell the difference between what they're being served. That big one looks a little too pompano-ish. Need a different piece. Okay, there we go. Moment of truth is here. We're going to do the blind taste test. Pompano versus mackerel. Here are our test subjects. No, not the dogs, humans. Okay, so I'm going to give each of you the first. You're all going to get the same fish first. Let's start off with my beautiful wife, Nadia. My youngest son, Caleb. And my oldest son, Josue. Okay, take a minute to enjoy that. What do you think?
I like it.
You like it?
I like it.
All 3 of you like it? Okay, here's taste number 2. You have to decide whether you prefer the first one or the second one. Don't say which one you prefer yet until all 3 have eaten.
I think I know which one that one is. I'm not gonna say, but
This is taste number 2. Both were prepared using the same seasonings and the same method. Okay. Does everybody know which one you prefer?
Yes.
yeah.
Okay. At the same time, all of you are going to say either 1 or 2. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
2.
So we had a 1 and 2 2s.
Okay, let me try to guess which was which.
Let's see. Nadia picked 1, and both of the boys picked 2. Well, Sway, which one do you think was 1 and which one was 2?
1 was the mackerel and 2 was the pompano.
Caleb,
I think so too.
you have no idea. Okay. You guys were right. Number 1 was the mackerel, number 2 was the pompano.
Yeah.
So Pompano won head to head 2 out of 3 votes versus mackerel. But interestingly, one person did prefer the mackerel, and everybody says that Pompano is one of the best tasting fish in the ocean. And a lot of people kind of hate on mackerel.
I think it
So
was
it's
very
interesting that some people actually prefer mackerel to Pompano. Here's our final product tonight. Who's ready to eat?
Yum.
All right, dig in. Okay, so I just finished my plate of pompano and mackerel, and I'll give my honest opinion. I pick mackerel also. I'm with my wife. Both of them are good. Pompano actually is a little firmer flesh. The mackerel is a little bit soft, but in the flavor department, the pompano shines. I can see where some people would prefer pompano because maybe they don't really like fish and it's not very fishy tasting. But if I want something that doesn't taste like fish, then I'm not going to eat fish. I'll eat chicken. When I eat fish, I want it to have some flavor, and the mackerel has flavor. Now, it's not like a nasty, overpowering fishy taste. It's just really good. It beats it hands down. It wasn't even a contest for me. The mackerel definitely won. Just my opinion. Mackerel beats pompano. Kaya, which one did you like, pompano or mackerel?
I actually gave her some
Oh,
pompano.
no!
You gave her some pompano?
Yeah.